Om Shri Sai Ram, offering my humble pranams at the lotus feet of my beloved Bhagwan, esteemed elders, your brothers and sisters. The annual sports and cultural meet is an annual affair. But as our Vice Chancellor Sir put it, this year it is very special, for it happens to be the first event in the 80th year of Advent of our beloved Bhagwan. But for me personally, it was very special. I have seen through 7 sports meet. Each of these sports meet, I encountered incidents, events, experiences where the unseen hand of Bhagwan was felt. This sports meet, I could feel something different within. Let me be more explicit. One day as we were practicing, it was the practice slot for the primary school. I noticed tiny tots, most of them just 3 years, 4 years old, slogging out in the sun. First standard, second standard, boys and girls slogging in the hot sun. I was really amazed. I was finding it hard to bear the brunt of the sun's heat, and I had applied sunscreen and all that. But those little kids, it may seem like a laughing matter, but I was serious, because on each one of those tiny tots' face was a grit, a determination. I was really amazed. I saw their teacher, Munni auntie, and I told her, "Auntie, this is really amazing how you train the children." She said, "The goldsmith can't do anything without the gold being pure. The children are so easy to train. It's their good quality." I wondered, what is it that when we find it difficult to tell little kids at home to get up in time to have their breakfast, that they, in a disciplined manner, in a synchronized manner, slog out on the field? On the sports meet day, as I sat watching the program, I saw the sister getting ready for the ramp jump. For a moment I just thought, what might be going on in her head at this moment? More than that, I wondered what will be the feelings of the sister sleeping 16th for the ramp jump. What gives the faith, the courage? Looking at the carabining event, let me just narrate one thing that happened on the afternoon of January 11th. The morning session had been completed, and since our slot was in the evening, we were preparing, and we thought that we would go and make our final markings for the event. All of us might have seen the boy who crashed into the curtains. The car was brought into place, everything was ready for the trial, and the boy started his descent. And it was then, I was on the ground at that time, that the horrible realization came over that the ropes were sagging. And this boy, hurtling down at a speed of around 40 kilometers an hour, comes straight and hits the carriage on the ambassador car. The carriage is just ripped apart, and the feeling among all the boys on the ground is horrible. The boy's face distorted in pain. He got down and just sat. But what thrilled me was when he could speak. The first sentence he said was, "Sir, don't worry, sir. I will do it today afternoon again." What made that boy speak like that? The rollerblades event, the U ramp, was something stupendous because it was made entirely by the students. And then it is difficult Believe me, it is difficult even to walk on the tram, forget skating and dropping down. And each of the boys who were there in that event were ridden with injuries. Many of them sometimes found it difficult to walk and sit on the floor. And yet, they wanted to do it. I wondered what makes them do it. The celestial rhythms, 80 feet above the ground without anything to hold you. One slight miss and God forbid what might happen. And yet they do it. In fact, two coaches came to me after the sports meet and asked, "अरे भाई, आप तो students हैं, आपका काम है पढ़ना, ये सब क्यों करते हो? Your job is to study. Why do you do all these dangerous things?" I mean, I just looked at his eyes and I didn't have an answer. Why do we do such things? The answer came very beautifully. It came very beautifully as a memory of the last year's sports meet. The jeep stunts were scheduled, and just before the jeep stunts could begin, Bhagwan smiled. He got up and returned to Mandir. On ground, I looked at the faces of all of the boys involved in the stunts. They were all sad. Some had tears in their eyes. But then, within 1 hour, the same set of boys were happily sitting and talking in the hostel. I went up to one of them and asked, "Brother, I understand it was a hard thing for you." He said, No, it was a foolish thing on my part to cry. Bhagwan was happy that way. As long as Swami is happy, I am happy. And that brought to me the beauty of the sports meet, the significance of sports meet. It's an event that is done for the love of God, out of love for God. And the only objective of the sports meet is to see a smile on the face of the Lord. Nothing else matters. As my sister beautifully put it, it's not what happens to us that matters, but what happens within. After this sports meet, I firmly believe that January 11th is not the day of the annual sports and cultural meet. It is the culmination of the annual sports and cultural meet. The sports meet begins weeks before, at around December 20th itself, for it is then that the training for life begins. As our Vice Chancellor so beautifully put it, the significance of the timing is so wonderful. January 14th, Sankranthi, is the day when the sun begins its northward journey. The north, where the Himalayas are present, considered as the abode of Lord Shiva. It is said that this is a very, very auspicious and holy time, the time when the mind must concentrate on the Lord. And if it does so, what can be achieved in this period is stupendous. And in this period, Bhagwan ensures that all of us have one pointed attention on the Lord alone. As I sat there, I watched Bhagwan. The Vice Chancellor sir gave him a rosebud. Swami, so innocently, was sitting there fiddling around with it. He just broadened the petals. He kept making it broad. And now if you can see it, it's a fully blossomed flower. So symbolic it is, because that's what he does to each one of us sitting here. We come to him as God. We are offered to him by our parents as buds, and with his touch, he ensures that we blossom. He teaches us that the only objective of life is to love God and live for him. There is nothing more important in life. That, I feel, is the lesson of the sports meet, not only for the students, not only for the audience, but the world over. It's not just an exhibition of talent. It's the experience of what is latent. The only thing that matters is love for Bhagwan. And this is brought about beautifully. I remember an incident, not during the sports meet, but just a few months before. What counts for Bhagwan is the feeling, the love, nothing else. There was a drama that was scheduled here, a small enactment. And in that program, a boy had to play the role of King Parikshit. He just had to come walking. He's thirsty. He places a snake around the rishi and he walks away. The role was hardly for around 25 seconds. Then the play was enacted. At the end of it, Bhagwan calls Parikshit, blesses him profusely and materializes a ring for him. Sitting in the audience, I was amazed because immature that I was and that I am, I thought that it is usually the lead role who is most important. And then when I came to know the story of Parikshit, the boy's story, I was amazed. This boy, the previous evening, was being trained to act and he was not getting the feeling right. That's what he said. And so, in order to enact it well in front of Bhagwan, for full 24 hours, this boy did not have a single drop of water. So that when he comes up in front of Bhagwan, he'll be really thirsty. These are the feelings, these are the kinds of emotions that Bhagwan looks out for. It is not important what we do, how big things we do, but how we do it. And the only way to make life worthwhile is to love Bhagwan. As he said, once a student, he came to Swami and with full devotion he said, Swami, I am ready to die for you, Swami. Swami smiled at him and said, Bangaru, don't die for me, live for me. Respected elders, brothers and sisters, on this holy day, when the mind is to be turned to the Lord, let's offer everything of ours to Him. For what is there that truly belongs to us? Let us pine for His love, crave for His love, and most importantly, let us ensure that we live for Him. Jai Saram.